What do you do when it feels like the whole world is against you, despite all the effort you made for the situation to get better? What do you do when everything keeps slipping right through your fingers, from a missed paycheck to being dropped from a job you rely on for survival, to even being betrayed by the ones that claim to love you? One after the other, the problems keeps piling up, and your world becomes empty. You're all alone, no money, no place to go, and no one to call to come to your rescue. A situation like this can make you go crazy overnight, even if you're a mentally stable person. And that is what we're discussing today: the fear of starting all over again in your 30s. So let's get into it.
Why is starting over so scary, especially the older we get? Well, I'm not exactly old, but I'm not young either. I recently had a breakup from my job, and it wasn't exactly mutual, but a part of me felt relieved, and then guilt for the relief. It's a mixed bag. I'd only ever known this path, building who I am at work, and if no one said anything, I would have done this forever. But I always felt in my heart of hearts, I could be someone else. Maybe a storyteller, a teacher, or maybe just someone who loves to cook. But my past self would never let me, and maybe it's time to let her go. Because how rare is it to find yourself at a crossroads and have the privilege to choose your own adventure? I mean, it's terrifying to lose everything you've ever built for yourself. But once you do, like truly do, I think it's only up from here. This week I started design school. Did you know that every part of these letters have a name? It's called the anatomy of type. I have no background in art whatsoever, and I thought it was too late for me, but I think too late is just what someone decides. And since I'm deciding, I guess it's not too late to start.
I'm 55, and if you're in your 30s, here's some uncomfortable truths you might need to hear. Your 30s will expose every lie you told yourself in your 20s. The people you grew up with may not grow with you, and that's okay. Let that truth set you free instead of keeping you stuck. Some people are only close to you because you don't have boundaries yet. You're not tired, you're misaligned. Your energy isn't drained, it's just being spent in the wrong direction. You don't need more self-care, you need self-respect. Self-care is cute, but self-respect is transformational. You don't need more inspiration, you need fewer interruptions. Your 30s won't give you peace, they give you perspective. You create the peace. Growth will cost you your fantasy version of yourself, the one who never failed, who never missed, and who never messed up. Reinvention requires disappointment. Somebody's gonna be mad, your family, your friends, or your future self. Pick who you can live with.
Hi, I'm Julie, and I'm starting over at 30 years old again. I've never been able to keep a job for more than a year, and trust me, I've tried a lot of them. I genuinely thought something was wrong with me for not being able to stick to a job. Every time I tried to force myself into a job I hated, and I was deeply unhappy. Today, of course, I'm in a job that I hate again and that I'm planning to quit, but this time it's different because this time I'm not waiting on the next job to save me and to fix everything. This time I'm actually betting on myself to create the job of my dreams, a job where I can work anywhere in the world, where I can live anywhere, where I can wake up excited to build something meaningful. I'm done forcing myself into things that drain me just because it's expected of me. I don't know if this will work, but I know what will happen if I don't try. So this is episode 1 and I'm done hiding.
Some might say it sounds like ADHD. Even though I hate the over-medication of people, but getting a diagnosis is worth the shot. For someone like me, my entire case is different. And I'm not on medication right now because I am mostly indoors for now due to my situation. Likewise, I have not been able to work in one place more than 6 months. That's why I have a certificate in sewing and in cosmetic formulation. Still, I just feel lost in anything I do. Maybe it's because I'm on and off with my medication, or it may be something else.
Starting over in your 30s isn't crisis, it's clarity. I'm 33 now, and I feel like I spent the first few years of my 30s really deconstructing who I thought I had to be. Letting go of every identity I inherited, every expectation, every this is just who you are, and actually asking myself who I want to be moving forward. And it came with grief, with unlearning, disappointment, confusion, depression, a whole dark night of the soul. My worldview got rocked, and there were moments I didn't know how I would put myself back together. I can feel something shifting now, not because I'm magically healed or have it all figured out, but because I actually know myself, know what I want, I know what I value, I know what I need, and when I slip out of alignment, I can feel it, and I can come back to myself so much quicker. So I'm still doing the work, but it's different now. It feels like I'm finally building a life that tells the truth about who I am. If you relate, let me know in the comments. minutes.
I'm starting over at 31 and I'm not scared yet. I've always had this dream of living abroad at least for a few months, maybe more, but I never took the leap. I kept thinking maybe in another life. And then I woke up one day recently and I realized, wait a minute, this is my one life. So here I am in Paris figuring things out. I'm doing all of the things I thought I'd do in the next life, taking French lessons, learning how to live alone for the first time ever, building a new community, writing the fantasy book I've always wanted to write. And I don't know what is next, but I have the right tools with me to make this next chapter of my life go as smoothly as possible. I'm of course using my AMD laptop and all of the AI capabilities to help me study this new language, to build out my new routines, and take meetings as I explore my new city and its surrounding areas. And I said I wasn't scared, but I definitely am a little scared. But what's even more scary to me is if I never did this. So this is me telling you, if there is a dream that you can't get off your mind, there might not be a next life. This is your one chance to make it happen, or at least try like I am.
I feel like I can relate to these women, but in a different way. There's a difference between starting all over again when you have the financial capacity to do so, and someone who has no money, no connections, and no one to ask for help. But I still consider myself lucky that I was rescued by the women's shelter and the social workers, because if not, I don't know what would have happened to me by now. I know I have a lot of deconstructing to do when it comes to my age, family, friends, and lifestyle. I'm going after my dreams one by one. Even with my current situation, I don't care anymore because I don't have anything else to lose. If I have to be on a medication for the rest of my life to be stable and achieve my dreams, then so be it.
I'm Lizzie, I'm 32. I blew up my life and started from scratch a year and a half ago. I was in my third year of marriage living in Colorado and absolutely hated my life. I didn't feel like myself anymore and I started to feel sick. Long story short, I left my ex. I left my whole life as I knew it, moved to California with my dog and started rebuilding brick by brick. Let me tell you, this process is not for the weak. I also had virtually no support, by the way. But as scary as it was to start over, and as scary as it still is to not know exactly where I'm going and what my life's gonna look like, there's no better feeling than being free and at peace. After living in turmoil the second half of my 20s and waking up every single morning with dread in my stomach, I want to show the world that it's not too late to start over and it's worth every ounce of discomfort. And if the life you're living right now doesn't feel right, nothing is permanent except having children. But you can change direction at any time. The only thing stopping you is your own limiting beliefs. Stop making excuses for other people mistreating you. And your life does not need to make sense to anyone else. It only needs to make sense to you. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that fear should never be a deciding factor. Now, instead of letting fear guide my decisions, I let self-love and self-trust guide my decisions. My life is far from perfect and I'm still in a transition phase, but every single decision feels incredibly authentic. And the amount of peace I have now is unmatched.
I'm 32 years old and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. That's incredibly embarrassing to say. And it was incredibly embarrassing to have to call my family and tell them that I got fired from the job I moved to London for after just 3 months. I think the lesson I've learned is I need to slow down. If there's anyone else out there, 30-something, 40-something, 20-something, and you don't know what you're doing, you're not alone. It's okay.
Someone wrote, I'm 38 and same, but I don't care. Likewise, me too. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. As long as everything makes sense to me and to me alone, that's what that matters. Like, this place has opened my mind because I'm doing this alone. Like, there's so many women here starting all over again with 3 kids, 1 child, 2 kids, and so on and so forth.
Hi, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm starting all over again. And when I mean I'm starting all over again, I genuinely mean I'm starting all over again. This time last year, I was an actor and a filmmaker in LA, and I have since left that career behind. I loved being a performer and a filmmaker, but it's true what they say, the industry is dying and it's still very racist and it's still very exclusive. That's not to say there aren't people who look like me who are doing really well, who are indie artists and who are just getting in there and doing their job. But for me at my age, I had to admit that I just wasn't happy anymore. What I had felt when I left was actually what I've been feeling for the last 3 years of my life, but I was so stubborn about sticking to into a plan that I stayed miserable for 3 years. My biggest fear is failure, and I felt like if I left that career, then I had to admit that I failed, which isn't the truth. I didn't fail. It just may look different, and I left something that didn't serve me anymore. Being unhappy wasn't worth it. So I took a really big risk. I quit my job that I hated, and I moved in with my parents. I saved a bunch of money, and I moved out of the country. I'm 4 months into my living abroad journey, and I can say that I don't know what I'm doing, but I do feel lighter. You may be thinking, why don't you just get another job? Why did you have to move out of the country? Well, I have been working since I was 14 years old, and I just needed some time to shut my brain off. I mean, I love my people and I love my friends, but if I was gonna do that, I wanted to be somewhere that was completely new, somewhere where I can wake up and not have any distractions and really just listen to myself and have some clarity. I just had to remove myself from the noise.
32 years old, I just moved back to my hometown, living with my mama, and I'm figuring out my life, and there's no shame in admitting that. There's no shame in admitting that, hey, I'm starting over. Why? Because I'm still young, I ain't got no kids, I ain't got no man, I ain't got no responsibilities except Aaliyah, and that allows me the time, the freedom to genuinely figure out who I am, and I'm so excited to start over again. I have no idea what's coming next. I have no idea where I'm going. I have no idea if I'm even staying where I'm staying. Like, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I ain't gotta worry about that. You know why? Because God said don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has its own worries. Focus on today. So what am I focusing on? Regaining my strength and being happy again, and finding my joy and being back in a place where people look like me and sound like me and talk like me, and a place that's filled with plenty of opportunities. And I'm so excited to see what's next. Like, I genuinely have no idea what the F I'm doing. I ain't got no job. I barely got money, y'all. Like, I'm literally just winging it.
I just want to know, are there any people out there in their 30s who feel like they're just lost and confused in their life right now? People used to tell me, just wait till you get to your 30s. It gets so much easier. I don't feel like that. Do I want to start a whole new career path? Do I want to keep my job? Do I just want to take whatever money I have left to my name and just run to Europe? Do I live in a city? Do I live on a farm where there's a bunch of cows and sheep and cute little dogs running around? I can just frolic in the flowers and just be a farm girl. I'm 33. Do I need to try and look for a husband right now? I don't know. Do I just get a van and me and my little dog just go trip around and go on little road trip adventures together and experience things? Like, that sounds fun. Do I just move to a super cheap island and just work in a smoothie shack, you know? Like, there's no right or wrong in life, but it's like there's so many options and paths that you can take that I don't know anymore. I want to do so many things, but at the same time, I don't know what to do. Also, I don't really have the financial freedom right now to be able to experience a lot of things.
I think wanting to do everything and nothing at the same time, it's so freaking real. And I agree with this next person saying, you know, because of social media, we see a lot of things and we get confused, which is true. We just have to listen to our hearts and what brings us real joy. That is a good point.
I am 35 and I am no longer embarrassed to admit that I have nothing on my name. I have no house, no car, no title, no property. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. I used to worry about these things before because it's what society tells us what to have by this age. But right now, I just want to live intentionally and really take care of my health.
Do you guys know the number one indicator for how children grow up to thrive?
I thought it was the daddy in the house.
Absolutely not.
What's
Believe
that?
it or not, it is the quality of their mother's happiness. Because if you have a depressed mother, if you have an anxious mother, if you have a mother with post-traumatic stress disorder who is having to disconnect from her own body, she cannot show up to nurture you. She cannot show up to support you. She cannot fully step into that space. And what she will teach you about being in relationships with other people, whether you can trust them, whether you can trust yourself, whether you can actually be committed and connected to somebody and know that they will reciprocate that to you in a healthy way. She teaches you that not through her words, but through her actions.
For me, I don't think my mom has anything to do with my current situation because I would say my mom did an amazing job in raising all of our kids.
In your late 20s, early 30s, you're gonna have this urge to burn your whole life to the ground and start over. And it's very important that you listen to that urge. Remember that.
When I got married, I was already a mother. My daughter was 3 at the time. She's 6 now, and here I am going through a divorce with a baby who's almost 1. And when the decision to move forward with divorce happened, I was only 4 months postpartum. I say all that to say because context matters. When I met my soon-to-be ex-husband, I idolized marriage. Not in a fairy tale way, but in a responsibility way, because I was already a mom. And somewhere deep down, I felt like I had failed my daughter. I didn't grow up with a single mom. I came from a 2-parent household. The relationship I saw growing up within my family were happy, long-lasting marriages. So I carried this belief that I needed to recreate that for her. I didn't want that reality for her. I wanted her to see her mom in love. I wanted her to see happiness up close, not through movies or TV or her friends' parents, but through me. I wanted to be the example. I wanted her to witness what a healthy, loving marriage looked like. And because of that, I approached dating like it was go big or go home. I focused so heavily on the end result that I ignored the process, I ignored red flags, I ignored discomfort, I ignored my intuition, and those red flags eventually became the very things that broke me. I found myself in a marriage that felt neglectful, performative, transactional. I didn't feel loved or cared for in the ways I actually needed. That doesn't erase the good moments, but it does make the bad ones louder. There were nights I smiled in front of my daughter only to cry myself to sleep because I felt completely alone. On paper, I had a life many people would want: the house, the car, the husband, the family, and I walked away from all of it for the same reason I walked into it, because I wanted my daughter to see a healthy representation of love, and this wasn't that. Walking away from a life you once prayed for isn't easy. To some people, it feels impossible, but staying would have meant teaching her that love looks like silence, like settling, like shrinking, and that's not a lesson I'm willing to pass down. As I take time to reflect and heal, I'm realizing something important. So many of the decisions we make are a direct result of where we are in that moment, what we're carrying, what we're afraid of, what we think we need to survive, and then life turns those decisions into lessons. Maybe that's all life really is, a series of choices, reflections, and growth, teaching us who we are and who we're becoming.
I almost got stuck in a situation like this just for marriage, even though I never wanted it in the first place. I was only trying to respect my Beth's mom's wishes. At the end of the day, I realized that she has always been the kind of woman who centered men, which I'm not, and I lost my baby after the relationship ended. So I'm glad to see that she have a father beside her anytime she needed.
This summer, I started over with my daughters. It's hard to believe that so much can happen in just 4 months. Being freshly postpartum and adjusting to 2 children wasn't easy. And there were hard days. There were days I held my girls and hoped they couldn't feel how scared I was. But even through all of it, we found moments to be happy. I thought this season would be about proving my strength, but instead I learned I didn't have to do it alone. Love, kindness, and community, that's what builds a person, and that's what builds a home. I watched the bond between my daughters deepen and was amazed that they continue to inspire me every single day. And nurturing them and creating space for their joy has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. And though there were things that we were dealing with privately, the opportunities still came and I still had amazing experiences. I tried new things, I took myself on dates, I cooked new meals, and I stepped into spaces I never thought were possible. And to be honest, something shifted in me. I realized I was never too much, and I was never asking for too much. I was always enough, and I was always capable, even if I didn't always feel that way. This journey will look different for everyone, but for me, it's about choosing softness over and over again. And to those who've witnessed any part of this, thank you. Your kindness has helped to carry us. I'm going to continue to rebuild and to grow, and I'm so excited to have you guys by my side.
I'm 54, and I'm going to tell you what nobody told me when I was 30 years old, but I wish they would have. You're not behind. You're just exhausted from holding everything up by yourself. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to apologize for wanting more. And you're not too late. You're just getting started. Stop waiting for permission to change your life. You don't need it. Some people won't make it into your next season, and that's okay. You can change your life radically in 5 years, but it starts with telling yourself the truth now. You can grieve the life you thought you would have and still build something better. God's not done with you. He's about to reroute everything. Take the trip. Leave the man. Wear the damn dress. You're still beautiful. You always were, even when you didn't believe it. Let the friendships fade. Let your body change. Let your priorities shift. That's not failure, that's becoming. And one more thing, that little voice inside of you that says, there has to be more. She's right. Just wait, sis. Your future self is gonna blow your mind. Hope that helps.
I turned 29 today, and I've just decided to follow all of my dreams. And I mean all of them, like the ones I had when I was a little girl, of being like a singer, actor, model, and just like doing the things. I live in New York City, so there's really no reason to not go after this. I don't know why I've waited till I'm 29 years old to actually try and go after my dreams. I figure so many people are living the lives that they want to live because they just did what they felt was probably impossible. And now that I'm entering the last year of my 20s, I'm realizing like, no, I literally need to live my life the way I want to live it. I have no choice to do that. No choice but to do that because I'm not going to be happy. So I'm about to just go after every single thing that I want. Every single thing. Even if it's like impossible, I'm gonna do it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but how can you be behind in your life if your life is only yours? You're only behind in your life if you're comparing yourself to other people. Why would you compare yourself to other people if their life is completely different to yours? Are you behind in yourself? Where's yourself going? You're yourself. You're not behind. You're just living your life how you want to live it. I think we all just need to stop caring about what other people think, what other people are doing. Just focus on yourself. You're doing you, and you're doing it amazingly. Cut yourself some slack. I think we all need to. I need to. We just need to love ourselves a bit more because we're in this for life with ourselves the most. That's the most important relationship. Love you. Bye.
For me, it's because of the goals I set for myself that I'm going to reach at a certain age. Some I know might have to do with society pressure, but some is just personal, like, my dreams. So I just have to take things slow. That's all.
I wish someone told me this sooner. You will be rewarded in the highest form when you just do. It's never about perfection. It's never about how hard you try. It's not even about how hard you work. It's just about your decision to show up as you are. There are a lot of people who talk about how their life hasn't gone the way they want it to. They always wanted to become a business owner, for example, but they don't know what type of business. No website exists. Their business IQ is non-existent, right? Someone recently told me they wanted to feel confident speaking in public, and I said, bet. I gave them tips to help them get there. Joining Toastmasters, grabbing any opportunity to speak to a stranger, talking out loud to yourself. Did they follow through? What do you think? Just do the thing. Okay, we are all gifted, and the difference between those who succeed and those who are stuck is the decision to just do. Do the smallest thing you can think of that moves the goalpost closer to your dream life. Everything looks so much bigger than it is when you're overthinking it. But if you break it down and take the small steps, it becomes much easier to balance, okay? And just remember, you will be rewarded in the highest form when you just do.